Good job. Yourself P1, Sebastian P2, Hamilton P3, Bottas P4, Verstappen P5.
Yes! Come on, grandissimi. Tomorrow is the race and it's where we score points, but it's a good beginning. Thanks, guys. Car was amazing. And, yeah.
What's going on, everyone? We're back for another We're Racing video. We're talking qualifying from Bahrain 2019. And where do we start? We start with the pole sitter who grabbed pole. He grabbed it in his first like proper go at it in Q3. He got the same lap time as Sebastian Vettel from 2018, which is a track record, I believe. And he's gone and smashed it on his second stint as well. For good measure, it's been a dominant qualifying performance from the young man, and credit where credit is due. That was a solid pole, and yeah, he just blew the rest of them away. His teammate was almost 0.3 of a second down on him, and the Mercs were very surprised by Ferrari's performance in a straight line down them straights. They're just killing us, is some of the words that have been coming out the Mercedes garage. So what did you think of Charles' performance today? Is this the start of an era for him? I think it is, to be honest. I think tomorrow on pole position, he's going to be very bullish. He's going to be very confident, and he's not going to let that place slip without a fight. So he's going to get his elbows out against Sebastian Vettel. And what's he going to put up as a fight? Do you expect Sebastian Vettel to take it right to him toe-to-toe? It's going to be interesting dynamic how it plays out down into turn one. Will the Mercedes boys get involved? And will there be a bit of argy-bargy? But if Sebastian Vettel can get into the toe of Leclerc off the line, it is a nice run down into turn one, and you can get an overtake there. So it's going to be tasty. Are we going to see them collide? They're going to get really, really punchy. Let me know your thoughts on that. Lewis Hamilton today, he was the best of the rest, you could say. The Ferrari looked like the dominant car, looked like the pole car, and they completely blew the competition out of the water. So Lewis Hamilton, solid third. We'll see what it's like when it comes to race pace. It's going to be interesting on the long stints, how they look after the tyres. Strategy comes into it as well. So they can really be aggressive with the strategy. They have to be if they're going to try and get this victory in this Grand Prix. So Lewis has said it'll be a very hard race, physically challenging and tough on the tyres. But our race pace was good last year, so I'm hopeful it'll be good again this year. I love that it's a close and exciting battle. That's really how it should be. So he really wants to work for this year. Lewis Hamilton, he's got his teammate fired up. We've got the dark Valtteri looming behind him as well. So if he gets in front, he's going to get punchy and want to get after the Ferraris. I think it's going to be a good scrap amongst these four. How close do we think it will be on race pace? I think it will be closer than what we've seen in qualifying. And strategy is going to play a key thing. How they're going to use the tyres. They can really mix it up in this race. I think there's going to be a real close battle for the win. And I really do hope that Charles Leclerc can get a win under his belt. How about the Mad Max Verstappen? He was solid performance again. When you compare him to his teammate Gasly, he had a terrible qualifying session. Watch out for Max Verstappen. He's going to be a threat in the race. If there's anything going on, argy-bargy in the front of the field, he will be there to take full advantage. We're sure of that. So he's going to start up the grid. So you expect it down into turn one to really have a lunge. You know what Max is like, and he can cause an upset in that top four. So Max said, my single lap in Q3 was all in or nothing, and I don't think I left anything on the table. So he was on the edge for that whole lap, he's saying, and he extracted the maximum out of that car. Will he be able to do that for a whole Grand Prix? Surely not. So I think they're going to have to try and look for a podium at best in this race, probably the Red Bull boys. But still, that's something they can achieve when they can mix it up again on the strategy. You never know what happens. Safety car cover off, them kind of things. Haas had a solid qualifying performance once again. Hopefully they get some solid points in the race this weekend. K-Mag again leading the team, getting P6, and Roman Grosjean in P8. Watch out for them. A very happy Gunther Steiner. I'm sure of that. So as we can see here, Charles Leclerc got his pole position. Great news. I'm really excited about that. Sebastian Vettel second and Lewis Hamilton third.
Yeah, we'll try to finish the job tomorrow, but congratulations.
So we're going to get into the classification now. We're going to run from the bottom up. We're going to go through Q1 session. So Kubica, Russell, Stroll, Hulkenberg and Giovinazzi were in the bottom there. You can see the Williams still a million miles away from everyone. It's a really tight midfield when you get up to the top cars even there. just a few seconds in it. So really interesting. In Q2, we lost Danny Rick, Albon, Gasly, Perez, Kvyat as well. Real shock there with the likes of Gasly. He should be punching a bit more above that, but is the car really there? Is Verstappen overdriving it? What's your thoughts and opinions on that? And is Gasly underperforming? So we're looking at Q3 classification now. We can see Charles Leclerc topped it with a 127.8, a track record, and his teammate was 0.294 behind him. Then there was Lewis Hamilton 0.324 with a 128.1. Valtteri Bottas not too far from his teammate with just 3.9 of a second behind. Max Verstappen in fifth, K-Mag impressive 6th. Great result for Carlos Sainz 7th, Romain Grosjean 8th, Kimi Raikkonen in 9th, the Iceman doing a good job. And Lando Norris again into Q3 for both of the McLaren drivers. Great achievement. This car looks quick when it's on low fuel, but it looks to struggle in terms of race pace. Also, they do suffer. You know, going into Q3, you're going to be on a used set of tyres. You're not going to have the advantage when it comes to strategy. When it comes into the race, it's going to be tricky for them. Hopefully they can get a clean getaway and bridge the gap to that midfield, and then any undercuts or anything like that will be covered off for the McLaren boys. I hope to see them have a good performance, especially with Lando Norris, of course, get behind him. He's coming to the sport really well, really confident, and delivering results. We've had a few people looking in on him, you know, like wanting to drive his race car, and the likes of Fernando Alonso. Will we see him again? We'll see him in a test coming up shortly. So that's really interesting that Fernando is still really intrigued by F1, and he's going to play a part in the development of this team, as well as leading it as an advisory sort of state, I expect. So he's looking in on with interest. He wish he had that car, you know, punching for the Q3. Yeah, that's what he really wanted. And now this Renault power is delivering. It's delivering a performance when it comes to quality. You can't doubt that. The Renault boys didn't have the best qualifying whatsoever. Hulkenberg had a terrible qualifying yet again, and Danny Rick couldn't really understand the car for most of the weekend. So he was really struggling with the balance and setup of the car. Here's a visual. I'll zoom out of it a bit. You'll be able to see the Williams right on the edge. They're like a million miles away when it comes to quali pace. When you look at all the cars in Q1 at the bottom, Q2 in the middle, and Q3 at the top there. Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll, P14 and 18. That's a pretty terrible performance, you must say, from the Racing Point team. But anyway, I think during the race, they have strong race pace, and they'll be there or thereabouts. Don't underestimate them whatsoever. The Williams really struggling for parts just to get it out on the track. They replaced the floor on Robert Kubica's car. He was complaining of handling issues with the car in Albert Park and also in Bahrain. So they did replace that with a like-for-like component. And it seems to have done a little better, but nothing massively. George Russell still seems to have the measure of everyone on that. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Will Williams try and bridge that gap? It's a lot to make up, surely. And I don't see them being anywhere near it come the end of the season. I hope there's a good turnaround. I was going to say a key turnaround. So Patrick Head, he's been brought in, the quite legend of the sport. He was great in his time. He's come back to offer a consultancy-based short-term agreement with Williams in order to try and help them within the engineering department, maybe the structure, organization, and just overall like operations as well, logistics. He just might just help with Lowe's absence from the team. I think they need someone to come in, steady the ship. He's probably a good man to do it. He's going to try and lift the team. They've got the young George Russell and the legendary Kvyat to drag them forward. So this is a positive step in my opinion. What's your thoughts? Is he going to contribute well to the team? So what's your guys' thoughts? Who's going to finish off best of the rest? Is it going to be the Haas by the look of it? We're going to see McLaren turn their quali pace into race pace. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I think it's quite a big step for McLaren. I do expect Haas to be really strong. Right on the tail of Verstappen and trying to gobble him up. K-Mag will try and have a lunge, I'm pretty sure, on the opening lap of the Grand Prix. Thanks for all tuning in. I'll join you on Monday for a post-race debrief. We'll also get into looking at the testing, looking what Mick Schumacher can do on the timesheets and how he's taken to life in a Formula One car. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you all soon, and have a good evening.